Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Rimigo TV, where we are having a Road to Masters series replay analysis. We played a ZvT, and by we I mean I did, just about a minute ago. And there were a couple of things I want to highlight which could have been done better by my end, and a couple of things that could have been done by better by the Terran's point of view. Now, at the beginning, as usual, Terran goes for a supply depot into barracks into command center opener, if I remember correctly, and I go for a 16 hash into 17 pool into 17 gas because I got cheesed a lot on the ladder. Therefore I like to have a spawning pool earlier than 18 and before the gas, so my zerglings can come out faster if needed. This way, by the time the overlord sees there is an expansion or something like that going on, I will not have a spawning pool yet, but it will be finished just at that moment, around that moment, so I can react properly. Because I will see some kind of information that tells me if something is fishy or not. For example, here, my overlord will see that there is a marine here, which will highlight me that I do not need zerglings. Because here is the marine, just in range. That's why you don't go out with your marines in the beginning, because you don't want to you want to withhold information. And because of that, if you take a look at the production, I don't even bother buying zerglings, because one, this is not a reaper, so I don't need the zerglings to fight with. Two, I will be already late to make him pay for building the command center on the low ground. Because right now my zerglings would be done and they will still need like 15 seconds to come across the map at least. And by that time the command center will be finished and he might possibly have more units, which he is training right now. He is going for a triple Rex opener, which is an interesting play. It's a very early aggression based one, but I do not know that yet, and my tactics in ZvT is an early Baneling nest for a possible run by and possible damage dealing, and at the same time buying roughly about 16 zerglings at the 44 supply mark, by the 44 supply mark, and just attack when the Terran starts to build the wall. That's my top priority, because this way I can deal damage to him. Now, he's continuously producing marines because his 3 Rex opener, because of his 3 Rex opener, he will be able to sufficiently pump out enough marines to defend this, but I do not know that because I cannot afford to lose an overlord in the early game. So for now I'm just injecting, waiting for the link speed, waiting for the zerglings, and with this build the zerglings are coming out the moment the link speed is finished, so I do not necessarily waste time getting in position. Now, at this point he will have 7 marines by the time I arrive, and I should have waited with my zerglings just 1 second so everyone comes up at the same time, because now the surround is there, but by the time I attack he already has enough, and simply sending in one by one is just not gonna cut it. If I were to wait for even these zerglings, I could have gotten here in time with a bigger army and I could have done much more damage. So due to my own impatience and stupidity, I do not cause damage, and at the same time I'm flooding minerals, which is definitely not ideal. So I decided to go for overlord speed as well, because later on in the game that's going to be very useful. I also start to make some banelings, not enough sadly, so I cannot really bust through, and that's my stupidity. I should have built 1 more, or maybe even 2, because right now I see that he is building there, so I know that this is not going to cut it. So I should not be attacking in. So all I do is sacrifice a lot of banelings and a couple of zerglings just to make sure that I kill a supply depot, which doesn't really do much to the Terran, because at this point he can go for mules, he's already building the wall, he's already building a 3rd command center and everything else. Now, what do? I retreat with my army and I go for a lair, and the double upgrades and just eco up like hell. Because right now I have a good enough zergling count, which is halfway morphed into banelings, to make sure that I know that he's not going to be able to deal significant damage to me. At this point the enemy has Steam Pack, he is going for the what's it called, combat shield upgrade as well, plus the marauders also have their upgrades, so they can slow things, which is very useful on high level micro against banelings, so I can see why he goes for that. And it's also very good against roaches if I were to swap unit compositions, which is a very high likelihood in this part of the game. So yeah, I have gas income problems, so I decided to go for more and more gases. And I also don't know what the enemy wants, but in case he goes for liberators, hey evac, welcome. So in case he goes for liberators or for even more crazy battle cruisers, I do have at least some amount of anti-air. Now in exchange, since I still have not seen his base, which I could have with this overlord, but I'd rather have him here to see where the army goes, I could have known what he has. I like this overlord over here, and since his sky units are late, I can't really do much, and I just move into position for a potential attack, because I see he has an army here, and I want to go right behind him, and because of that I will be able to pump in my Zerglings as well. Now my overlord is up, so I see that he's going up with his entire army, and I know that after he kills the overlord he will come down the ramp. And I already am here with the banelings, he just doesn't pay attention, and as you can see, bang, 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 bangy bang, 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 and there you go, his entire army evaporates. At this point I'm brutally ahead, and I just pump out more and more Zerglings to make sure that I can deal as much damage as possible. So yeah, he's defending his wall instead of his STVs, which is not the best idea to do. Wow, that was a weirdly going marauder shit. You know what I mean. Anyways, at this point, I successfully killed 13 workers, and if we take a look at the unit loss tabs, I am ahead, which is very good for a Zerg in ZvT. Usually Terran is the one with more cost-efficient trades. So at this point he has 4 medivacs and a couple of slightly upgraded marines. My attack upgrade is coming up. Also planning to go for hydras and lurkers in the later stage of the game. But I sense that if I want to make significant damage, I will have to go for another run by, because I'm sure that he will come down again and try to mine from here again. In exchange, he scans, he sees that I have a third base, he doesn't suspect a fourth one, so I decided to attack again because I know that he needs some time to get back, and he picks up at the worst possible moment, and also I have superior army. Now he starts to cry around and says, okay, yeah, catch me when I move down. Yeah, that's what you have to do with Zergs. So yeah, the Terran needs to know that banelings are hurting, and he did not pay attention to his army when I was coming here, even though I was in vision. So he could have handled that much better. He did not. And at the same time, I could have made more banelings here with my second push to bust the depot efficiently, because that way my Zerglings could have gone in and deal some damage, or at the beginning wait for more Zerglings to catch up, because if I move in with as a whole clump, I could have dealt much more damage as well. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you like this type of content, watch the other videos, and if you want to catch me live, twitch.tv/RemigoTV. It's that easy, just go there, and I'm happy to have you. And until the next video, easy game, easy life.